We're back by satellite with our contacts in Moscow, USSR, and more of UFO Cover-Up Live.
Once again from TASS, here is Sergei Bolantsev. Tell us again, Sergei, about the preliminary findings from Tunguska in Siberia. Are you on the line, Sergei?
The Tunguska explosion, which occurred in 1908, still attracts a tremendous amount of public attention. I traveled twice to the site of the explosion. It is in a very remote, very distant part of Siberia. And according to some recent findings, the most astonishing fact about Tunguska explosion is that actually there were two objects, I would say two UFOs. The first one had been seen early in the morning at approximately 8 a.m. and it exploded over the Tunguska forest. And the second one had been seen in the afternoon. One can get the impression that the second object was looking for the first one.
Yes.
And Mike, by the way, why shouldn't we arrange a joint Soviet-American expedition to the site of the explosion?
I think that's a terrific idea, Sergei. I'm sure there are many Americans who would like to join us. We'll talk further. Now, we're looking forward to the final reports from this latest expedition to Siberia. Thanks for the news flash, Sergei Bolantsev, and thanks for opening a new channel of communication between the U.S. and the USSR. Now, we've invited three people who are highly skeptical of UFO phenomena. We would like them to give you their point of view. Let's meet them. First, David Williamson, a 30-year veteran NASA senior staff member who is well known as the UFO point person at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. James Oberg, who has written many books and articles about space and UFOs and lectures widely on related topics. And finally, Dr. Herbert Spiegel, who heads the Columbia College of Physicians and Surgeons postgraduate program is in hypnosis and is the author of the book Trance and Treatment, The Clinical Uses of Hypnosis. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Dr. Spiegel, you're the expert in hypnosis. What do you think of the technique of hypnotic regression?
Well, the hypnosis is accurately regarded as controlled imagination, which includes misperceptions as well. Now, what you can do with hypnosis is to intensify the memories that we have, but that also includes our inner feelings as well as our memories with the original distortions in the first place. But hypnosis does not at all enhance the accuracy of the original perception in the first place.
Does not? Does not. The question of commonalities, does that mean anything?
It's simply because we know that in our forensic work that too many misperceptions occur in the first place.
I see.
And if you now intensify it with the vivid recall of hypnosis, then all you do is exaggerating what you already started off with as a misperception.
All right, sir. Mr. Williamson, what does NASA's point man on UFOs have to say in response to the material you've seen?
Sort of interesting. The official NASA position has been for 11 years that we will analyze legitimate materials physically available to us, given us a quick claim so that we can cut it apart and so forth. Mm-hmm. In those 11 years, we haven't had any physical evidence. What you're dealing with here seems to be a phenomenon, very real, since Ezekiel all the way to Florida.
Yes.
But it is not a physical phenomenon that you can measure, that you can put your hands on, that you can bring to the laboratory. I don't know what it is. It's obviously real. You can have some hoaxes, quite a lot of hoaxes, as you saw tonight. Yeah. But you also have a lot of people who know that they have felt something, experienced something. We don't know what it is. Keep an open mind and wait for physical evidence is probably the best scientific advice you can get. In the meantime, look for ways to measure this thing.
Very good. Mr. Oberg, what do you think about the evidence you've seen tonight?
Well, I think it's some fascinating material, Mike. The most interesting part is that the material as it was put together left out an awful lot as well. Material within the UFO community itself, with a lot of controversy and skepticism among UFO believers about the MJ-12 material, about Gulf Breeze as an example. I'm glad to see that the Russians were brought into this because that really underscores what I think is happening in a lot of these reports, which is that people will see and interpret things in the sky as they interpret them, and many times the government doesn't really mind that UFOs are seen as flying saucers. The cases discussed tonight, particularly the first case from the airliner, 1984, at 4:10 a.m., turns out to have been, and it was seen by other people outside of Russia as well, a military rocket test. up in the area of Plesetsk, which was a secret space center. This happened so many times in the Soviet Union, they released official scientific reports from the Academy of Sciences claiming that things that people see, which happen to be weapons tests, space weapons tests, for example, are UFOs. So to call them flying saucers and to present that point of view is actually to take part in the cover-up of their true nature, which is in some ways a very ironic feature. Now, in terms of whether or not these are real UFOs, whether or not the MJ-12 stories, which seem to change every time we hear them from Falcon, are true, I'm afraid we don't have a 900 number. But I suggest people go out and buy strawberry ice cream. If it's all gone, maybe the UFO guy will go away.
Great. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. Since we went on the air 2 hours ago, calls have been coming in from all over the country claiming to have experienced close encounters with UFOs. Here are the results. Of the people that called in, 20% they said they had never had a UFO experience. Of those who claim to have had a close encounter of the first kind, do I have a number? 66% claim to have had a UFO experience of the close encounter of the first kind. Close encounter of the second kind, 5% make that claim. And 3% claim to have had a close encounter of the third kind. That's perfect. Close encounters of the fourth kind, 6%. Thus far in the program, we've had how many percent of our callers calling for a congressional investigation? 87% saying yes, congressional investigation. No, 13%. Now remember, our telephones are active until 1 a.m., October 15th, Eastern Daylight Time, throughout the United States and Canada, at the nominal charge of $1. All information received from your phone calls will be forwarded to a proper investigational committee, should one be set up, in Congress here in Washington, D.C.
It seems every man, woman, and child in America.
And the exciting wrap-up of UFO Cover-Up. Sponsored in part by AT&T, the right choice. By Quaker 100% natural cereal, everything else is just cornflakes. And by new Chunky Chips Ahoy, the new chocolate chunk cookie from Nabisco.
The answers to your long-distance questions are never more than a phone call away.
Just give me the dates, and don't worry, we'll solve it.
AT&T customer representatives are always ready to help you with information on bills, discounts, and the AT&T card. And you can call on their experience 24 hours a day.
Thanks. There's one less thing that I have to think about.
We're reaching further to bring your world closer. AT&T, the right choice.
My mouth has a terrible time waking up in the morning. Come on. You know why? Most cereals bore it to sleep. Come on. Want to see it come alive? Watch. Quaker natural cereal. My mouth gets a charge of whole grains, honey, almonds, raisins, a bunch of different textures, a blast of different tastes. That's reveille, man. My mouth will never get back to sleep. Once you taste Quaker natural, everything else is just cornflakes.
This is Chunky Chips Ahoy, the new chocolate chunk cookie with chocolate chips so big they're really chunks. And we're talking serious chocolate. We're talking new Chunky Chips Ahoy.
Shh, listen to your mouth. That's the crunchy texture of a Triscuit. And that's the delicious whole wheat taste of a Triscuit. They're made to take on any topping or no topping. Listen to your mouth, Triscuit.
Today, leading health and cancer authorities urge us to eat foods rich in beta-carotene. Today, Centrum is enriched with beta-carotene and more complete than any leading brand. Centrum with beta-carotene, more complete from A to Zinc.